At St. Catherine's Academy, the air itself seemed soaked with wealth. The marble hallways gleamed. Luxury cars lined the gates every morning, and students wore watches and carried iPhones worth more than some people's yearly salaries. But among all the elite students, three girls stood above the rest: Amara, Zainab, and Laila. They were inseparable. Amara, the leader, with a sharp gaze and unshakable confidence. Zainab, the strategist, always 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And Laila, the gentle one, loved for her charm and kindness. Together they ruled the academy like royalty, admired, envied, and even feared by their classmates. To outsiders, their lives seemed perfect: shopping trips, social media fame, and flawless grades. But beneath the polished surface lay a secret darker than anyone could imagine. Whispers had always drifted through the academy about a hidden society, the Golden Crown. Some believed it was a club for the school's wealthiest students, while others thought it was just a myth meant to scare newcomers. But the truth was real, and it was far more dangerous. The three girls had been invited in their very first year. Late one night, they were summoned to the chapel basement, where shadows danced in the flickering light of tall candles. Hooded figures stood in silence, holding out a golden crown that shimmered strangely in the darkness. The girls were told that joining meant unimaginable influence, grades that never slipped, opportunities that fell into their laps, and protection no money could buy. All they had to do was swear loyalty. They agreed, cutting their palms and pressing their blood against the crown. From that moment, they were bound. By day, they laughed with friends, scrolled through their phones, and lived like ordinary rich teenagers. By night, they became something else. Wearing black robes and golden masks, they carried out the society's will. At first, their tasks seemed harmless: convincing a student to join a club, spreading subtle influence on teachers, making sure certain classmates lost opportunities. But slowly, the demands grew darker. They had to spread rumors that destroyed reputations, sabotage projects, and manipulate competitions so that only cult-favored students could shine. Each time they hesitated, they remembered the oath, the promise that betrayal would cost them everything. For Amara and Zainab, the power was intoxicating. But for Laila, the cult's grip weighed heavily. She still valued kindness, still remembered what it felt like to be ordinary. The breaking point came one night when she received a message on her encrypted phone. Your final task: destroy Miriam. Expose her secrets. She must never rise. Laila froze. Miriam was her childhood friend, the only one who had known her before wealth and power shaped her world. The idea of betraying her filled Laila with dread. When she confessed her hesitation, Amara's eyes burned with determination. We took the oath, Laila. You know what happens if you disobey. And Zainab added coldly, the crown protects us. Without it, we are nothing. Laila looked down at her scarred palm, a reminder of the night she swore her loyalty. She was torn between the weight of her promise and the pull of her conscience. The night of the final initiation arrived. The three girls stood again in the chapel basement, surrounded by hooded figures. The cult leader lifted the golden crown high. This is the test of true loyalty, he declared. Choose the cult or choose weakness. A trembling Miriam was led forward, unaware of what was about to happen. Laila's heart raced. The candle flames seemed to flicker violently, as though the building itself demanded her choice. Amara and Zainab looked at her expectantly, waiting for her to obey, but in that moment, Laila saw something they didn't: the truth. All their power, their wealth, their influence, it wasn't really theirs. It belonged to the cult. They weren't in control. They were prisoners. With a deep breath, Laila stepped forward, not to harm Miriam, but to grab the golden crown from the cult leader's hands. Gasps echoed around the chamber. This crown doesn't own me, she said, her voice steady though her hands trembled. It doesn't own us. Amara and Zainab stared, shocked, but something in Layla's courage sparked a fire in them too. For the first time, they saw the chains for what they were. Slowly, defiantly, the three girls removed their golden masks and let them drop to the ground. The cult erupted in fury, shadows swarming around them. But the girls stood tall together, hand in hand. The crown, once glowing with power, now lay dim and lifeless at their feet. By morning, the whispers began. Some said the cult of the golden crown had been broken forever. Others said it still lurked in the shadows, waiting for the next generation of students. But Amara, Zainab, and Laila walked through the academy gates as free girls, no longer bound by secrets. Their lives would never be simple. They were still wealthy, still envied, still under watchful eyes. But now they carried something far greater than power or influence. They carried freedom, and they carried the bond of friendship that no crown could ever control. Moral of the story: wealth and power can blind, but true strength comes from the courage to choose what is right, even when it means risking everything.